Hi, and welcome to AnimalZone. I'm Arthur von Wiesenberger, and this handsome fellow is Mikey, my adopted pit bull. AnimalZone is the A to Z on everything about adoptable pets. Whether you're looking for a bird, a cat, a dog, or even a tortoise, we've got experts who can share their knowledge and insights. So cuddle up with your favorite critter and join us as we explore the Animal Zone. Mikey, you know, this week on Animal Zone, we're going to go up to the Greener Pastures Animal Sanctuary in Santa Ynez. And then we're going to be talking with Pacelle, you know, the great animal lover who has a book all about animals. And then we're going to go to the Wags and Whiskers show, the biggest festival in California. What do you think about that? Oh, he thinks it's delicious.
Bonjour Alex.
Bonjour Renaud.
Happiness? It's great food prepared the French way.
Chocolate eclair.
What makes you happy?
A touch of Paris.
Without the trip to France. Handcrafted daily in our bakeries especially for you. Indulge yourself.
Bon appétit.
Please visit Renaud's in Gelston, Santa Barbara, Long Beach, and La Cañada, Flint Ridge.
The Santa Barbara Humane Society is an independent, local, community-based nonprofit with adoptable animals ready to find a forever home today.
At the Santa Barbara Humane Society, we provide low-cost spay and neuter services and vaccinations. It's important for your dogs and cats to get vaccinated to prevent illnesses. And spay and neuter surgeries help prevent unwanted pregnancies and can benefit the health of your pet.
At the Santa Barbara Humane Society, we want you to adopt, not chop.
Well, today on Animal Zone, we're at Greener Pastures Farm Sanctuary in Santa Ynez, California. Beautiful place and a gorgeous day. And some fantastic founders and organizers here. We've got Diane Dietrich and Joe Kennedy. Diane is the founder.
There.
So good to be here.
Nice to meet you.
And Joe, you kind of do everything else, don't you?
I'm sort of the ranch hand.
Yeah, oh, that's great. Well, you got a lot of ranch hand things to do. We've got, I mean, what, you've got donkeys, you've got goats.
Horses,
yeah,
chickens, ducks, a pig.
Wow. So how did Greener Pastures start?
We were rescuing animals for many years and finally decided this organization needed to happen to educate people about the treatment of animals and how to adopt and rescue and just help animals in need.
And you've obviously helped a lot because I gather you rescued animals from kill centers and all kinds of things.
Kill pens, slaughterhouses.
Wow.
Yeah, neglect.
They were very lucky creatures to have you guys. And you have kids who come here and learn about animals, right?
Yes, we invite people to come in and learn about the animals and teach them how to treat the animals and why it's important to be kind to others.
Well, I'm dying to meet some of your residents, so can we go on a little tour?
You're at the right place.
All right.
Absolutely, let's go.
Let's go check it out.
All right, sounds good.
So, you've got these beautiful donkeys. Tell me about this one.
This is Hazel. She's kind of the boss of it too. She's a good girl. She came from a ranch in Los Olivos and she was just left to wander, never fed. So they came to us seriously obese. And we put them on the proper diet. And
But no, they were
nutrients.
Obese, but they were never fed?
Isn't that wild?
Tell me how that happens.
They were just grazing on land, ate all day long, whatever they wanted.
I see. Uh-huh.
So now they're on a restricted diet, a healthy diet, and they look much healthier.
And what do they eat?
Mostly hay.
You just sort of get flakes of hay and put it in? Wow. And I mean, I love donkeys. They seem to be so bright. But tell me, why about the big ears?
They have big ears because they can't sweat, like horses can sweat. They disperse the heat through their ears, keeps them cool.
Wow. So it's
They're
not
usually from the desert.
not the better to hear you with, my dear.
Well, that too.
Yeah. Now, donkeys also announce when other things come on property,
That's right.
They're very
alert
aware.
us.
They're kind of like geese in that way, right?
Very
Like guard
very
donkeys.
loud. Yeah. They alert us when there's an animal on the property, if there's a new person, if they hear another donkey in the distance, they'll bray back. So they're vigilant.
So they would make a good pet for the right home, right?
For the right home, yeah.
You need about an acre for a donkey?
Yeah, and they need a friend. They can't be kept alone because
Right.
they're herd animals.
Sure. And they live a long time, don't they, like horses?
Yeah, they live, what, 25 years
25,
or
35 years.
And there are lots of donkeys out there ready to be adopted, aren't there?
There are many donkeys out there.
I know that the BLM has been herding donkeys to try and get them off of
That's right.
lands and then into maybe homes, hopefully homes like this.
And a lot of sanctuaries have them for adoption too.
Wow, that sounds great. Well, Hazel and your co-padre,
Isabel?
Isabel.
These guys have a cross on their back.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, the myth. Have you heard the myth?
Tell me about the myth.
So you'll notice a cross on their back, down their mane, and across their shoulder.
Yeah.
The legend has it that since a donkey carried Mary to the stable, that they were blessed with a cross
Wow.
forevermore.
Well, they definitely got my heart. I love these guys and girls. All right, well, let's keep on cruising and see what
Let's
else you
keep
got.
going. We got more.
Sounds
Bye,
great.
Isabel. Bye, Hazel. See you guys. Wow, I'm in love with this goat. Tell me about, what kind of goats are these?
Juliet here is a Nubian goat. They're originally from Africa.
Wow. And big ears, too.
And that's how you can distinguish a Nubian goat with the big ears.
And now, are these goats, are the kind of goats that also produce goat milk? I mean, that you
Sure.
actually
Yeah.
consume?
If you breed them. Juliet has never been bred, and neither have the boys, so they don't produce milk anyway.
Yeah, right. Now, who are these two? What are their
This
names?
is Lennon and Taylor. They're-
James Taylor and John Lennon?
That's right. They're brothers. Oh, there goes the bully.
A musical fan, huh?
Yeah.
He's
That's
an alpine
Emmett.
boer goat.
And he's so different?
Yeah, he's from the French Alps originally. That's what the breed is from.
He's 5 years old. And when he came here, he was twice his size because he was all bloated. And she had to give him a syringe of milk and magnesia twice a day. I had to hold him by his horns and we'd stick it down his throat. And he deflated
We usually wore it.
within a week or two's time, and now he's really healthy.
And where did you rescue him from?
He came from Paso Robles.
Yeah, he had a partner that had died and he was alone and depressed, and he's doing way better now.
Are they easy to feed, easy to look after, or do they require a lot of work?
They're pretty easy, actually. Just feed them hay and a few treats here and there.
And they don't eat you out of house and home?
They don't, no.
Because I always thought that goats would like eat everything that's wood, everything that's around.
Well, that's how they test everything to see if it's edible. They chew on it a little and
They do eat bark and they eat wood, like these wooden
Twigs.
platform things out here, they'll chew on that.
And you said that goats are related to cows?
well, they're ruminants.
I see.
So they chew on their food, they swallow it, it goes through the stomach, it comes back up. That's why they're allowed to eat branches and twigs and bark, and
Oh.
they're not grazers, they're browsers.
So they recycle everything they
They
eat. in other
recycle
words.
everything.
Do they have two stomachs as well?
I think
4.
they have, yeah, it's 4.
Wow. They're-
Yeah.
That'd be
Thought
dangerous.
one was enough.
Yeah, well, yeah. Oh, that's great. Well, this is, I'm sure that kids must just glow being around these wonderful goats because they're so friendly.
They're friendly and playful.
Yeah, and they probably learn a lot about how farm animals really can add a rich existence to one's life.
Absolutely. They all have unique personalities and likes and dislikes and their own little quirks. And we just respect each one for who they are and let them be the animals they're meant to be.
Now, of course, when I think of a farm, I think of horses, and I think you've got a few of those as well.
We do.
Can we go over there, or are you going to say nay, nay, nay? Let's go check them out.
Absolutely.
Check them out.
Hey, take a look at these loving animals that you can adopt today. And don't worry, if someone beats you to the shelter, there are plenty more wonderful animals ready to find you and their forever home.
Every morning you could count on it being there with the rise of the sun. We're proud to say we've been there every day with you. The Santa Barbara News Press plans to continue sharing the news of the day with you all through the year and beyond. It's nice to know there are some things you can still count on. The Santa Barbara News Press, serving Santa Barbara since 1855.
Subscribe today. Call 1-800-654-3292. My grandfather taught me about the beauty of the rugs. Each one tells a story. Story about the person who wove it, the person who bought it, the person who inherits it, the person who treasures it. It's amazing how simply looking at an object can bring you back to a different place and time, or remind you of someone you love. At Santa Barbara Design Center, we want to help you find the rug that will travel through time with your family for generations to come. Visit us at 410 Oliver Street and find your treasure today.
And welcome back to AnimalZone, where we are at Greener Pastures here in Santa Ynez with Diane. And I think Joe is bringing us a little bit of Wildfire, huh?
That's right.
Hey, now tell me a little bit about Wildfire, because I thought at first Wildfire looked like a little bit of a pony.
Yeah, he's a big miniature horse, but he's actually only 4 months old.
Wow. Will he get bigger?
He will get bigger.
Okay, so he's just sort of starting out.
He's starting out.
But miniature horses, how do you measure a miniature horse? When do they become no longer a miniature horse?
If they're taller than, is it 32 inches?
Yes.
Then they're considered a pony.
I see. And do they have the same personality as a pony?
They do. They're very similar.
Yeah, so that's good news and bad news, right?
Yeah, it can be.
Some ponies can be kind of aggressive and
Some can be not very nice.
No. How's Wildfire?
Wildfire is a doll.
Yeah.
He and his mother Starlet, who we'll introduce you to in a minute, came from a kill pen in Oklahoma, and which is really unfortunate. So many hundreds of thousands of horses are butchered, literally slaughtered for food.
Oh, that's so sad.
But fortunately, he was rescued, and he's here with us now, and living the good life.
He seems to be really happy.
He's very sweet, very calm, very affectionate.
And kids probably just
Go
warm
crazy.
up to him, huh?
Everybody
it's the
wants
right
to
size.
hug him.
Yeah. And does he like to be hugged?
He's super soft, super sweet. Yes, he likes being hugged.
Big hug. Oh, you are sweet, John. What a good guy. Yeah. And as far as looking after a miniature horse, are the prices miniature too?
No.
No, huh?
They're very expensive. The vet care, the feed, they need their teeth floated, which means to have them filed. They need their hooves trimmed regularly. They need to be wormed regularly.
So it's a commitment.
It's a commitment.
It's
nothing to take lightly.
Just like a regular horse.
That's
then.
right.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh. But you're doing it, and
we love it. We're so happy they got rescued, and they're here, and they're relaxing into a life of freedom, and they experience joy like they never have before, and we're just so happy about that.
Great. And now can we go meet her mom?
We sure
Mom?
can.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Let's go check it out. Thank you, Wildfire. We'll see ya. So this is Starlet that you rescued from a kill pen.
That's right.
And you said that she's a little bit sensitive because she
She's
came from a
little
pretty
spooky.
intense environment.
That's right. They just pack as many horses as they can in a pen, and they don't care about their well-being. So she's pretty spooky and doesn't trust people because of what was done to her in the past.
But she can pick up different energies. You mentioned that Joe's got a lot more energy.
She has a lot more energy, and it freaks her out sometimes because she doesn't trust that, because that's what she was around. But if you take a breath and you go approach her slowly, it's a much better result.
Right. And how old is she?
I think she's 7 years old.
Right.
All of our animals come from kill pens, slaughterhouses, factory farms, neglect. And these are the animals that need our attention because they've been mistreated so. And so we are here to educate about the treatment and how to be kind to animals and show them respect like we would a dog or a cat, because they're as loyal and affectionate as companion animals.
Well, she's sure found the right home for herself.
She's coming around.
You've done okay. You've done okay, sweetie. And now you've also got, I guess, some geese and some ducks and some pigs,
We have some chickens and ducks and a very special pig.
All right, let's go check them out.
Awesome.
You know, I've never pet a chicken before, but this is the softest chicken I've ever met. What kind of chicken is this?
He's a silkie.
Wow.
He's a silkie. He was found sleeping on the street in Montecito, and a kind person pulled over and picked him up and tried to find his home, but of course couldn't. So he's here with us.
And what's his name?
P. Diller.
P. Diller.
Yep.
No relationship to Phyllis.
No relation to Phyllis.
But he's got the same hairstyle.
Very
A
much
little
so.
bit something like
a little
that.
like a boa.
So do you think that he just sort of escaped out of someone's
We're not sure.
home?
Either someone dropped him off or he escaped. Typically people don't want roosters, so they drop them off near a creek bed or something, and yeah. they're left to fend for themselves, and that doesn't usually work because they get eaten.
And meanwhile, you've got all these beautiful chickens and other roosters, right?
That's right, yeah.
And do they all get on with one another?
For the most part, there's definitely a pecking order.
Yes, of course.
Literally. Some of these animals came from the poultry industry where they were going to be slaughtered for their parts. Some were from the egg-laying industry. Some were found wandering, like this beautiful rooster right here. And people tend to not want animals after a while sometimes. They're too much work, or
They might have hatched a little chicken at Easter and or a duck, and then they don't.
The romance ends and they just dump them somewhere.
That's the problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
But they seem to be very happy, and I've noticed that chickens really recognize people. They really respond to what they're used to.
They can recognize 100 different faces.
Wow.
And they have
more than me.
That's right. 25 different vocalizations, and they communicate with their chicks while they're in the egg.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're pretty remarkable animals. They get a bad rap sometimes.
Kind of like pigs too, who are so smart.
They're very intelligent.
Very emotional.
They
They apparently are very smart. They have about 300 words that they speak amongst themselves.
Complex social systems too.
Yeah, and you have a great pig. So with your beautiful ducks, they also get on with the chickens, right?
They do. They get along fine.
I mean, this is not really a very foul place after all.
Not after all.
How can you help people and help animals as far as getting involved more?
We encourage people to put their compassion into action and either volunteer, donate, rescue, adopt, or become vegan. You can save over 1,300 animals in a lifetime by becoming vegan. That's what people typically eat.
Wow. Well, Diane, this has been a great day here. And Joe, thank you so much for welcoming us over to
such a pleasure.
This wonderful sanctuary that you've got, and all your beautiful animals. And we really appreciate you being on Animal Zone.
Thank you so much. Come back again.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Hey, take a look at these loving animals that you can adopt today. And don't worry, if someone beats you to the shelter, there are plenty more wonderful animals ready to find you and their forever home.
Care for Paws was started in 2009 with the goal to reduce pet overpopulation and keep animals out of shelters, and also to ensure that pets can stay with their owners for life. We, from the get-go, established a free spay and neuter program that would help low-income pet owners fix their pets. So we provide shots, microchips, dewormer, flea treatment. We also have a veterinary intervention program. It's a way for us to help improve the quality of life for the animal as well for the owner, because when an animal suffers in the family, so does the rest of the family.
Bonjour Alex.
Bonjour Renaud.
Happiness? It's great food prepared the French way.
Chocolate eclair.
What makes you happy?
A touch of Paris.
Without the trip to France. Handcrafted daily in our bakeries, especially for you. Indulge yourself.
Bon appétit.
Please visit Renaud's in Gelston, Santa Barbara, Long Beach, and La Cañada, Flint Ridge.
Well, I'm thrilled today to have Wayne Pacelle joining us here on Animal Zone. He's the author of The Bond and the Humane Economy. He's also the guy who's running the Animal Wellness Foundation. And I'm not only thrilled to see him, so is our friend Eli the donkey, right? Eli, last time I think you guys saw each other was at a wedding.
Well, yes, yeah, it was a great day for me. My wife, Lisa Fletcher, and I were married right here. And Eli was one of the attendees, and he was a very vocal attendee right at the perfect moment. Asked if there were any objections, and of course, on behalf of my wife, Eli objected and gave a great whinny. But she didn't listen to him, so we did get married.
Yeah, Eli, you kind of made an ass of yourself there, but that's another story. Anyway, you know, I mean, Wayne, you have been known, you're kind of like the Noah of animals. I mean, and your ark, I mean, takes every creature on board, right? The modern day Noah, who really has saved so many animals in so many situations. But how did it all start? You were born, what, on the East Coast, right?
On the East Coast. I'm from Connecticut, a working class family. My father was a football coach. My mother, you know, when she wasn't caring for me and 3 older siblings, she was working as a secretary for my uncle's construction lab. And I'm the youngest of 4 kids, and I just had this affinity for animals from my youngest days. I mean, we had dogs, but it was more than that. It was just kind of an empathy for all creatures. And I hated the idea that people were killing whales. You know, I'd learned about whaling when I was a kid, and there were the dolphins that were being targeted by the tuna fishermen. I wouldn't eat tuna fish because what I learned was that in the Pacific Ocean, there's a behavioral association with the tuna and the dolphins, that the tuna swim below the dolphins. And the tuna fishing fleets would target the dolphins to catch the tuna below. They would chase them for hours and exhaust them, put a net, and over time 7 million dolphins drowned as a consequence of that fishing practice. So, you know, I just had little snippets of knowledge, and I just didn't want to participate in any form of cruelty. And I started to vocalize that when I was a little kid, and it just kept growing from there.
And even your mom wasn't quite as much of a lover of animals as you were. What was the story that was in your book about the mouse?
You know, the thesis of the book, The Bond, is that there's a human-animal bond that is really part of our hardwiring. I mean, it's not the final word for us, but it's an inclination. It's a pretty important instinct that we have to be drawn to other creatures. It's why we have dogs and cats in our homes. It's why we have burros and horses in our pastures. It's why we love to go to national parks and be in nature. And I don't think this is an accident that so many of us are drawn to animals. And the thesis of the book is that this is part of our social connection in the world, that we're drawn to other people. And we're also drawn to animals as part of our larger social experience. But I say that there are some countervailing forces. And, you know, a lot of people have an instinctive fear of spiders and snakes and also rodents. And somehow there was a mouse that got into our kitchen at one point, and my mother saw the mouse and immediately jumped on the chair, just like a cartoon. And I'm like, Mom, it's a little tiny mouse. But, you know, this is an instinctive, reflexive reaction. And we see this, I mean, it's why we have some attitudes toward wolves and cougars and other predators, even though, you know, the odds of us being attacked by one are infinitesimally small. Yet we have these elements that are forces that are working for animals and against. And, you know, my argument in the bond is that we have to be intentional, that this thing gives us a head start, but through our rational, logical mind, we understand that these animals breathe the same air that we do. They have a beating heart like we have. They may not be as intelligent as we are in terms of measuring intelligence through IQ, but they suffer just like we do. They have needs and wants. They have emotions and they have feelings. And to deny them the ability to live a life free of torture and pain and gratuitous violence directed at them is wrong. And when I was a little kid, and then throughout my adult life, I've always wanted to stand against that idea.
And there is this bond, as you said in your book, with animals to the point where they can also help us with things like PTSD.
Yeah, well, there's biochemistry to the bond. It's not just that we love animals. You see oxytocin levels rise when we interact with dogs and cats, in them and in us. It's a social bonding hormone. It's one of the reasons, you know, we have hormones that are about sexual attraction. We also have hormones about social bonding, and these are at work in our interactions with animals. And, you know, for our veterans who have PTSD, for kids that have emotional problems, one of the best therapies is to be around animals. Hippotherapy, horse therapy. When we talk about prison programs, when prisoners have opportunities to work with dogs and cats or work with horses, I mean, this is a gentling process for them. So there's something really powerful about this human-animal bond that draws us to them. But as you said, it's also a healing part of it, that animals give back to us in so many ways.
Well, Wayne, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank
and
you.
Eli thanks you as well.
Thank you,
he says
Eli.
it's good to see you after all these years.
I love burros.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we're going to see more Animal Zone.
My grandfather taught me about the beauty of the rugs. Each one tells a story. Story about the person who wove it, the person who bought it, the person who inherits it, the person who treasures it. It's amazing how simply looking at an object can bring you back to a different place and time, or remind you of someone you love. At Santa Barbara Design Center, we want to help you find a rug that will travel through time with your family for generations to come. Visit us at 410 Olive Street and find your treasure today.
The Santa Barbara County Animal Care Foundation is dedicated to saving animals' lives, but we need your help to continue this critical work. SBCACF provides year-round medical and surgical care so that abandoned, homeless, or abused animals receive the best second chance at finding a loving home.
No animal is turned away from surgical care.
To learn more and assist us in keeping that pledge, visit sbcanimalcare.org and make a donation today.
If they can be saved,
we want to save them.
Okay, we're here with Shayna, who just adopted a pit bull. Shayna, that's great. What happened? How did you guys fall in love with each other?
Well, it certainly was love at first sight. We basically just kind of were walking around, and she had a little adopt me sign on her, and it was meant to be.
Have you been looking for a dog to adopt?
So me and my family have been talking about adopting another dog because we have one at home and we wanted another companion. And we kind of played around with the idea and then just decided to come to Wags and Whiskers Festival today. And then, like I said, just love at first sight.
Wow. So she's got some big plans for herself tonight. How are you going to ebb her into your lifestyle? What do you think about doing?
So I think it's definitely going to be a little bit of kind of give and take and stuff where, you know, not wanting to make our other dog feel too uncomfortable instead of having a new one, and then also trying to make her feel just as welcome too as well. Right. And stuff. So it may be a little bit of a challenge, but with how sweet she is, I'm not worried at all.
Have you ever had a pit bull before?
I've had a pit bull mix before, and she was one of the sweetest dogs I've ever had, and she just passed away about 3 years ago.
Oh, was she an adopted dog too?
Yes, she was.
Now, when you adopt a dog, what is the first thing that gets you? Is it the look in the eye? Is it the way she kisses you? Or?
I think it's one of those things where when they look at you with those big eyes and then they give that little tail wag, and it just kind of like they look into your soul and stuff, and they give that little piece of you. You give them that piece of you, and they give you that piece of them, and it's meant to be.
And it looks like you have some family members here.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yes, I do. I have my mom and my daughter here, and then her new sister, JoJo, her older sister.
Wow, so everybody voted yes on this adoption, right?
Yes, we did. We all completely in love with her, and she seems to be all in love with us.
Oh, well, we wish you the very best, and thank you for adopting a pit bull, because they are some of the most loving dogs, and I'm glad you recognize that, and hope it's a great new addition to your life.
Yes, thank you so much. We're so happy.
Okay, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back after these words.
Every morning you could count on it being there. The rise of the sun. We're proud to say we've been there every day with you. The Santa Barbara News Press plans to continue sharing the news of the day with you all through the year and beyond. It's nice to know there are some things you can still count on. The Santa Barbara News Press, serving Santa Barbara since 1855.
Subscribe today. Call 1-800-654-3292.
Hi, I'm Carrie Burns, and I'm the Executive Director for the Santa Barbara Humane Society. And what we want you to know is that Humane Societies are local to each community. No one is associated with the National Humane Society. So when you donate or you adopt, know that everything that you touch is right there in your own backyard. We want you to donate, volunteer, and adopt. For more information, visit sbhumanesociety.org.
Weren't there some amazing animals and guests? You know, you who adopt animals from shelters, you are the true heroes. If you want to see more about AnimalZone and other things, check out our website, animalzone.org, and we look forward to seeing you next time.
Never was a friend so true, never was a friend like you. Canine, you're my best friend. Canine of mine, friend for all time. So glad you're my best friend. Through thick and thin, we'll see things through. canine of mine, so true. Did I find you or did you find me? Either way, it's still serendipity. When I saw you, it was plain to see you weren't just another lassie wannabe. Oh, canine of mine, friend for all time. I'm so glad you're my best friend.